Lego. That's life. What's up with that?
Let's go.
It's all good, dude.
Because I always knock my strings out of tune. Because no matter how hard you play, you're always going to find a way to either stay in tune or randomly get out of tune.
I do it every time.
Yeah. Whether it's the stress of a live setting, red light fever, or just overplaying while practicing.
Yeah, I mean, you just play too hard and knock it out of tune.
Oh, yeah.
Especially my Fender, dude. My Fender's notorious for going out of tune. It's not bad.
Oh, shoot.
You don't have to wear headphones. I'm gonna wear them just for a little bit, probably, just to make sure we sound good.
Yeah, I saw a few people start out wearing them, then just take them off, hang them up.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I don't know.
I trust the audio to make sounds.
No, this sounds good. I think we're all right.
All right.
Cool. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Another episode of What's Up With That. Got Dillon here.
What up?
Yep. This is going to be a really heavy guitar-based episode, so if you're not into guitar or not interested, it's probably not for you. But just letting you know from the jump. So I first met Dillon in person at Grex Fest when we were playing there. I was playing with Gotti Morano, and we pulled up in a hurry, just kind of skirted up on the scene, and then as soon as I started loading up, Dillon runs up and is like, "What do you need help with?"
Yeah.
And I'd never had that happen before, honestly. So it was.
I heard of this guy just strictly through Connor Gibbons' episode on this podcast, and as soon as I saw him, I saw like how much he played guitar, and the fact he's on our lineup on the show, I just knew I had to help him. You know, anything to get the ball rolling for a show. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, as a musician, like, when you pull up to a show, you know, you're not usually expecting people to help you like that, you know, especially when you're doing, like, a small show like that was.
And usually you have to scramble to find the promoter, you know, to find your other bands, because...
Right, yeah. You're trying to find out what stage you're playing on or whatever it may be, yeah, absolutely.
A lot of last-minute stuff.
But what I mean, like, he helped me out was he helped me load in my amp, plug everything up, and, like... Guitar player, that means the world, you know, because especially when I was actually on stage, you were telling me, like, turn up a little bit, because a lot of the time you can't hear what you sound like, so to have someone in the crowd to be like, hey, you know, you need to turn up a little bit, I appreciated that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, no matter what sound guy you run into, you're always going to have to find your way to hear yourself, because it's up to the sound guy to push the main monitors, the speakers out, the sound.
Absolutely.
Track main vocals, but when you're at a gig like that where none of the guitars are mic'd up or anything, like, you gotta make yourself heard through the audience and front stage.
Yeah, we didn't even sound check or anything. We just pulled up and played. Which honestly, those are my favorite shows.
Me too.
You just pull up, show up, and play.
House parties, you know, shows like at Grex Fest. It was just such an awesome vibe.
Yeah, they had a lot of just kind of local underground people there. Some killer bands though.
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't remember who it was, but the one that was on right when we pulled up. Dude had a dress on.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was especially blown away because like it wasn't just the performance of the songs; it was the performance of the character.
Yeah.
And like, it gave me Marilyn Manson vibes, I guess. But man, there's Placebo. There's that one band, Placebo.
Right.
It was popping off like a good amount of years ago. It just reminded me of that sound.
Placebo comes up in this podcast so much; it's crazy. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with them though. Shout out to Grex though.
Yeah, sorry, Hazy Chambers too. That was another band that really stood out at that show. Like, I'd never heard of them. Like, I just saw their name on the lineup. I show up in front of their stage, and they just had a great vibe too.
I don't know if I saw them. I honestly didn't catch any names when we were there. We were in such a hurry that day. We just were in and out. So
yeah, I was just back and forth across all the stages that had bands. You know.
Yeah.
I always show up for the bands.
Hell yeah. I wish I could have been there for your set though. Y'all played like late in the night though.
Yeah. I think third to last compared to Lockjaw, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah, or second to last, I don't know.
That's good and bad because like half of the like people are gone, but then the people that do stay are usually like core audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they want to see you.
I think a good amount of the audience showed up there for the wrestling, and I respect that. You know, people love wrestling events, whether it's professionally done, you know, just randomly scrap put together. My first like experience with wrestling, just watching it, was just a midget wrestling match that happened outside of I forgot what the restaurant was, but it was off 75 and Spring Creek in Plano, and I just remember pulling up there. You know, the main thing that stood out was this one vehicle was a Mach 5 replica, you know, from Speed Racer.
Oh, okay, that's
And
pretty
it turned
cool.
out that was Russ Martin's car. Russ
Oh,
Martin was in
nice.
attendance.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Right. I grew up listening to Russ Martin.
Me too.
I used to love listening to all his little skits he would do because he was like the first person I like heard in Dallas. I would do like those like skits on the radio and shit.
Yeah, me too.
Like back in the day. And then like I don't know, you kind of knew he was gonna like on his way out.
Sure.
Like if you listen to like the last year he was on, like he was like barely there, sick all the fucking time.
Yeah,
He was
hearing those stories.
doing it from home. Wouldn't even go to the studio. I mean, they found his body at his house. You know. Yeah. Rest in peace, Russ Martin, I guess.
But
And honestly, there's like no one else in Dallas that like I want to listen to, like on the radio. Like fuck all the other shit. It's just like poppy like radio like.
I used to really want a single on radio, on modern rock radio, but I don't even know what modern rock radio is supposed to sound like these days, you know?
Well, now like specifically like this in Dallas, they just got rid of the radio station we're talking about, the Eagle.
Yeah.
It's fucking gone now, and that was like what we all like somewhat grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
There was other stuff before that, but
I remember it was the Edge for a little bit, and it used to host the Edge Fest.
Edge Fest was awesome, dude.
I went every time I could. I even skipped prom. I skipped my prom for that shit.
Right.
I had a great time.
I saw Cage the Elephant there. I saw Cake.
Me too.
Cake was awesome, dude.
Oh, I went to all the same ones.
Maybe.
Did you go to the one where Blink-182 headlined?
No, I didn't go to that one.
That was a good trip.
I saw them like 2 years ago though. They're pretty sick.
Well, I heard their ticket prices are going to be especially expensive this go around.
That's what I keep hearing too. They're super expensive. I hadn't really looked at the prices though, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the big fucking deal is because like they're just playing the same shit. I mean the lineup's back to the original lineup, but it's not like My Chemical Romance.
I know.
You know, like a band that like broke up and like didn't play for like 10 years and now they're playing again and had like such a like generational impact. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm sure like Blink had a pretty big impact too, but they've been around in the scene still.
Yeah, far more active, especially with each of their side projects from the very beginning of the core lineup that we know now of Blink. Ever since then, those side projects got placed on like talk shows and stuff, and the sound was good and familiar to the audience. And I feel like that's especially how people respected them because they're not just one-trick ponies. They know how to come across on a record. The individual musicians, Travis Barker knows how to really fucking nail any song. That's
Yeah, you know when it's Travis playing.
Oh,
yeah, no doubt.
Same thing with Mark Hoppus. Like every song he guested on, you can tell it's his voice, his layer, his hands. Mark Hoppus alone was the biggest influence on pop punk. I personally think.
I think him and Barker for sure. Yeah, I mean the whole like pop punk style of playing drums is based off of Travis Barker.
Oh yeah.
Like he pretty much invented that whole thing, and MGK ran with it.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I mean, what makes pop punk is the dynamics that people can take full advantage of. You can write 3-chord songs all you want, but you got to have some energy fucking behind it.
Yeah.
With the drummer, bassist, guitarist, vocals, whatever other layers you want to add. You can even add violin to it. Make it pop off. Fucking Ocean Avenue with the violin layer. That was beautiful.
Dude, I used to love that part about Yellow Car. That was like really what made them stand out to me was the violin in it.
Yeah. I've never seen them live. It was awesome.
Oh, I bet that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had some sick tracks back in the day. The whole pop punk scene is like having like a resurgence lately, though, the past couple of years.
And I hate to say it, but I feel like the new resurgence is coming out with songs that sound more the same than in the past. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Similar chord progressions, the energy levels, are kind of predictable, when a song is going to pick up the energy, full time, half time, and stuff.
I had someone tell me one time MGK sounds like what you would like if you were to write like a punk song, like stereotypical lyrics. Like that's exactly what his lyrics are when he writes like pop punk stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God. Did he have a song called Punk Rock Girl? I didn't listen to the records info. I only
He's got
listened
Emo
to
Girl.
Emo Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the song.
Yeah, once that track came out, I've been a big long time MGK fan for a long time, but like once he got into that whole scene, he kind of faded for me right there.
I mean, longtime fans can say that. Pop punk fans that are trying to pick up new bands may say that. But I think casual music fans aren't catching on to that. I'm talking about like the music review channels, you know, like a hip hop artist, hip hop fan listens to pop punk for the first time, or opera vocal coach listens to Metallica for the first time.
Yeah.
And you can see how some of these people transform their opinions and taste over just getting reactions to that. And that opera singer who was reacting to Metallica, she ended up checking out oh my god, what was the band? Slipknot. She looked up Slipknot and just talked about how dark the lyrics were and just how graspy Corey's voice could get on his quiet parts, you know.
Yeah.
Push my fingers into my eye. Yeah, stuff like that. And just how much it would hurt a seasoned opera singer to be at that for like maybe an hour tracking. That would hurt.
I mean, they shred their voice, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he got one vocal track finished. I mean, he got to track one vocal line after he got hit with I forgot if it was a candle that was lit or a candle that was just done being lit, and it was just the melted candle wax, but that was all over his face. Yeah, it happened at Sound City Studio.
When he was recording?
Yeah, I forgot which producer did it. It wasn't Rick Rubin. He's a sweetheart from the people I've seen.
I love Rick Rubin, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah. That dude's like a musical like sage. You know, he gets like the best out of people.
He doesn't necessarily push people out of their comfort zone, but he picks the right level of suggestion to the artist, whether it's Tom Petty at the time, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, he knows how to help a musician refine their spirit and put it into lyrics or the whole song as a whole, really.
I think he just purely chasing like that magic. Like the magic, like music moments, you know, like, and I heard him say that like one time is like, if you're not ready to put something out, if it's not great, if you don't think it's great, it's not great. You know what I mean? Then don't put it out. Mm-hmm. If it's not great, you're not ready to put it out. If you think that it's just okay, it's not great.
Yeah, that's pretty much my thing with the songs I've been trying to write over the years. Like, of course, I've been doing guitar with Connor Gibbons, but ever since I first started playing guitar, I was really trying to write songs for myself. Songs that helped me through high school, through, you know, personal, you know, issues I had in life. You know, I wasn't really like writing for an audience. I was trying to write for myself and just,
I feel that, yeah.
Notes in my.
That's how it was for me, dude. I never wrote to like play for anybody. It was just in my room, you know, just playing riffs and stuff.
I mean, the only people that saw me play before I got with Connor was just people at the Performing Arts Center in Allen High School. I would just bring my acoustic. I'll bring this guitar there like every Friday after classes and just play songs until people got sick of me.
Right.
And funny thing about this guitar, like, this is the first acoustic guitar I was gifted, or like given since my journey playing guitar, and this guitar actually survived a fall down a flight of stairs.
No way.
So there's this guy that was like really messing with my friend group, like really being a bully, you know, saying rude things, you know, tripping them, you know, not straight up assault, but just stuff along those lines, whatever. And
he threw it down the stairs or something?
I carried it like a backpack on my strap. He literally cut the strap from under me. I don't know how he got a pair of scissors, and he just threw it. He didn't roll it down a flight of stairs. He threw it from like over an edge, you know, railing awning in.
It's like a scene from a movie.
Yeah, and I I didn't do anything in response.
Just like a soft shell case,
Yeah.
like a backpack case. Yeah.
I think it's literally the same as this one. I decided to get a replacement of it, but it's literally the same as this one.
Yeah, that's not protected much.
It really isn't.
that just protects from like scratches and shit.
Yeah, plenty of scratches on it. But yeah, that's pretty much my only acoustic I've had since the beginning playing guitar. I had a Taylor acoustic, a Taylor Big Baby, and I ended up selling that for a classical guitar by the time I went to college, trying to pick up classical guitar. That didn't end up well.
Yeah, I've never been into classical, like nylon string.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been into that.
It was the compositions they had me learn. It wasn't like the classical standards, Pachelbel's Canon in D or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was some interesting stuff. Like at the time, like trying to come up with songs myself, it was a nice influence. It was a good influence.
No, I respect it in the sense of like shred metal is just classical. Oh, yeah. It's just what it is. Just
Marty Freeman, fucking Sinister Gates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, Randy Rhoads.
It's all just classical guitar with distortion. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
And just played so well.
Yeah.
Each note is heard articulated so well on the records.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped that journey. I stopped that journey in classical after like I guess a year and a half. I remember the song. The song was called "Imminent Loss," and that was my song to learn for a final exam. And I got so frustrated. I was at my house practicing the song every day, and
that's what it takes. You have to do it every fucking day.
And my teacher didn't believe me when I told him I played every day, but I wasn't wholehearted and into classical. I was just using it as a stepping stone to move on, and as soon as I realized that for myself, I kind of went half-assed at it. And whenever I say half-assed, I'm talking about like retaining the memory of the song. I can hold on to Green Day songs my whole life probably. I can hold on to
right,
Fighters,
yeah.
Scorpions, Guns N' Roses songs.
That's the stuff you like.
Yeah, I grew up on.
It's easy to remember that.
My family really put those records in front of me, both sides of my family, mom and dad. But what put me over the edge for classical was it was literally just the last solo. I was listening to the record, and my solo was just one little layer. It's more simple, like recalling it now, like what the melody sounds like. You just got to hear the song to really know what I'm talking about. But it's more simple than I thought it was back then. I got frustrated and threw my classical guitar down a flight of stairs, not with the case, and also with the music stanza and with the sheet music.
Right.
I bent the music stand, and not a single scratch was put on that nylon string guitar. I still have it to this day.
That's wild, dude.
Strangely.
Do you always just throw your guitars downstairs?
It just ends up that way. I mean, Connor will tell you, whenever we put together a set list, I'm like, all right, this last song, I'm probably going to get a cheap guitar and just smash it. But
dude, have you smashed a guitar before?
I really haven't.
It's very fun. Mm-hmm. It's very fun. I've bought a pawn shop guitar and smashed it before.
I smashed a Rock Band 3 Strat guitar.
That kind of counts.
Yeah,
it kind of counts.
It was the vibe.
Yeah. No, but I've smashed, like, I remember my mom gave me like a little cheap acoustic one time, and me and my buddy we were like 17. Didn't give a shit. I just went out in the street and I was like, let's go smash it. Just fucking smashed it in the street. It's very fulfilling. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially seeing all the little pieces inside of like a acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
The design of it.
You ever seen like the very like close up image of like an inside? It looks like a like modern like
modern art or
yeah architecture type shit.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man.
What's like your dream acoustic you could get?
I used to love the Martin J200s or J180s. Billy Joel from Green Day used them live a lot, but I can't remember the exact number of the model. But it was a Taylor acoustic. I remember being a concert series. Steel strings, not nylon. But man, I just gotta get another Taylor guitar. Another good high end one. And
yeah. I think you can't go wrong with a Martin or a Taylor. Mm-hmm. Either one of those, I'm happy with, honestly. Those are like tried and true classic, like gonna be a nice sounding acoustic guitar, no matter like the string gauge or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was this one Gibson Parlor acoustic that my cousin let me try out. Well, friend of a cousin, and I actually wrote one song. It was the only acoustic song I ever showed to Connor and them. Connor and our producer Brandon, shout out to Jay Spinner. He told me that was a beautiful song and it just needs to find its place.
Yeah.
I need to finish writing the lyrics. And first time I tracked it, I got nervous behind the mic. I laid the acoustic track fine. We got the placement beat, just keeping the pace. And by the time I was singing, I got nervous. I choked up every line, and I just decided to just, drop that song for now, keep working on Connor's songs. And the songs I did with Connor after that were just great. Like,
Well, I think you said it. Like, you just got to find the place for it. There's a time music's so situational, dude. I say it all the time. Like, it's so like of the time you're doing it. If you're not feeling it at the time, just either scrap it or come back to it because you're not gonna find it right there. It's obviously not the time.
And when I want to write my songs, it may be my pride getting in the way, but I really want to write it all by myself. Like, not just the arrangement, but the lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
And Connor's just a great songwriter with lyrics, like just how he expresses himself.
Oh yeah, I love Connor's lyrics, dude. He that's really what's like stood out to me was his lyricism and like just songwriting in general.
I remember the Down Bad EP we temporarily had out, but it's no longer on streaming services now. But the tracking of those songs were literally just, half the time it was just a background beat, and he would just come up with like a lyrical hook, and then I just came up with like a guitar loop, I think per section.
Everything on the spot like that. That's what I mean by music's so situational like that and just in the moment type shit. That's how you get the best stuff, I think.
And Connor and I, we feed off each other so well when he's behind a drum kit and I'm on guitar.
Yeah.
And we had our first band, Civic Duty, and I tried to write all the songs, and I think I did a pretty good job on those. Unfortunately, the EP isn't out now anymore. I just have them on CDs, but going back listening to them, I gave a good attempt singing. I remember being sick for one of the songs, but Connor really helped me. It really helped me figure out like what it means to write a good song, because growing up, I loved like prog rock, King Crimson, Rush. I love all those complicated stuff. Tool, I'm a big fucking Tool fan. But Connor told me whenever we were free jamming, he said, "Dylan, just come up with a song, A section, B section, guitar solo. Let our bassist have a bass solo. He loves bass solos.
Hell yeah.
Let me have a drum solo. I want to have a drum solo." And like the songs we came out with on that The Way EP, I think it was 5 songs. It was just a great showcase of what we were doing at the time. We had like,
it can really be that simple.
Yeah.
It was ABC.
And it was all done in the same room in, I think, 2 back and forth days. Yeah, like Alec just had the recording software. I think we used my soundboard just for tracking drums, and we leveled it on the regular soundboard, and then we just fed the single track of drums just into it. So if I ever do show off like that record, you'll notice that Connor's drums are quiet.
Right.
Quiet. We just
because you took it in as one track.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I get that. The first studio recordings that I have are just like that. Drums are one tracked. Everything was recorded on like a 8-track recorder just like this, and then they just stacked everything.
Yeah.
So it was very like almost like an analog experience, but not. But I loved it, dude. It was for like my first experience like doing it. It was super like, all right, just play. Yeah.
I mean, my favorite thing about being a musician solely is just the moment that you share with other musicians in a room or a studio or on stage. You're feeding off each other. I don't even listen to monitors whenever I'm playing live. I'm listening to the guys on stage, the drummers kick, pattern.
Exactly. That's why I don't like to play with in-ears, because I need to hear everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't want like, of course I want like a PA so I can hear myself, but I want to hear everybody else too, because there's timing cues I need to hear.
Oh, yeah.
There's I just need to hear like different things, lyrical cues, drum cues, whatever it might be, So I like to be able to hear everybody rather than just myself.
And my music journey really consists of just being invited on stage for cover band shows. I met this one musician, Jet Tessman, shout out Jet Tessman and Foreplay, and also Kurt Loderman, his guitarist, and Bill Heyman, the bassist. I remember going to this restaurant, Shuck and Jive, a really good Cajun food spot.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
I frequented there for poker nights, and I got knocked out in the free poker league early. Just decided to wait on my dad. He was my ride, and I just chilled and watched the cover band. And by the time they got to playing, they snuck in some of their original songs as their band foreplay before they released.
As you do.
Yeah.
You know.
And I was really impressed. It was stripped down, simple. It was exactly what Connor was telling me about. It was just A section, B section,
Yeah.
repeat A section, maybe add a few layers for a solo and stuff. And I remember in between sets, I complimented them, and they're like, "Yo, look at our set list. You probably play guitar too. I know you're watching Kurt's, the guitarist fingers most of the time." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I was." And I said, "Oh, I know this song. Oh, I know this song. Play him. Take Kirk's guitar rig. Just play him. American Idiot, All Small Things." And they just invited me on stage, played it, and he said, "All right, we're gonna be back here at this date. I'll learn these cover songs."
Oh no way! Just like that.
They really plugged me in, at least to get me stage time and used to the stress.
Yeah.
Because whenever you're playing cover band gigs, people want to dance to you playing the song faithfully, playing it well.
Yeah, they want to hear the song.
The first time
how it came out,
Oh yeah, the first time I played with them, I actually knocked 2 strings out of tune, like really badly, because I was hammering on someone else's guitar hard. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Like,
A guitar you don't know.
I tried to go all Green Day in on it, like the whole arm motion, and just knock some strings out of tune. I was like, all right, next time I'll bring my guitar. Okay. Oh, snapped a string on one of the songs. All right, that's all stage time I can get. And each time I was getting better, learning some more covers. I did want to learn one of their originals. I did want to, but I respected their chemistry. I respected those three's chemistry and whatever drummer they brought in. Like almost every gig, they had like a different drummer, someone that they hired in, and they would always joke on stage, "All right, we're going to play this just like in band practice." "We don't have band practice." "Oh, that's right, we don't do band practice."
Dude, I was talking to Ricky Mitchell of Late Night Call, and they're such an incredible band, and it blew me away when he said that they don't practice. They just kind of perform live, and that's what you get. And I don't know, it's fucking incredible, honestly. They do their like live shows on the street, and it's 90% improvised.
Yeah.
So that's kind of their band practice. It's just like that.
I mean, whenever you get to a certain level as a musician, you start to realize that a song is just its own product. It's what the audience is going to hear through streaming sites, and they get an idea of what a song sounds like.
Right.
By the time you see them live, by the time you see a band live, it's going to be different. It really is going to be different if they're not depending on backing tracks. The pace of the song's going to be different. The guitarist may add some more.
And that can make or break for you.
It really can.
Like you can like love a fucking song and then go see it live and be like, what the fuck was that? Like they're having a bad day, or Homeboy sounds totally different on stage, or whatever it is.
I mean, it's not like some other bands that just drag their 3-minute song and pick one section to drag for 7 extra minutes doing freestyles, talking with the crowd.
Yeah.
Crowd participation. I personally don't care for that. I probably would do that if like I was part of a project that was big, like big like Michael Jackson or something. But, I like playing songs, and I want to get on to the next badass song.
Right.
I want to show people a lot of great, beautiful things, not just one thing that they can get tired of.
Also, you want to keep the energy.
Oh yeah.
If you like stop and like talk in the middle and like you're just keeping the backtrack, like that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
You're going like and just letting everything like roller coaster at that point.
I mean, Connor did a good job doing that with one of our old songs, Young, which was off the Down Bad EP. We've been playing the song Young at our live shows consistently now with the band, and I don't know if we do it in the middle of the song or just at the end, but we usually have a moment of silence for the people that the song's dedicated to, the people that were taken away from us.
That's different. See, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're going and you're just like doing banter in the middle of a song, that's different.
Yeah.
I feel like you're pandering to an audience at that point. You're just giving them what they want and trying to like, I don't know. It's just kind of cheesy. I like to keep the energy going. How long have you been playing with Connor, though?
Let's see. We met in freshman year of high school, and we would roast each other across a lunch table. But then he just brought up, hey, my friend Steven's bringing his guitar over to my garage.
Yeah.
He got a drum set from a garage sale or something. I forgot what the story was of that, but I just went to the garage. He started playing Holiday by Green Day, Steven did, and I kind of learned the song on the spot. Like, I was a fan of Green Day at the time, but, like, I didn't realize, like, oh, like, Holiday, the song I heard on the radio, is actually a little bit more simple to play, the way he was playing it.
Yeah.
Watching hands. Whenever there are two guitarists together in a garage, sometimes the guitarists are watching the drummer, for the pace, but secretly I always have an eye on, the other guitarist's right hand or left hand.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. Just trying to learn the songs so that way they can be free to do the extra.
Exactly.
So that way they can sing a little bit better,
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching just to learn it for myself. And not only that, sometimes you'll be playing a song and then see someone else play it differently, and you're like, oh, that's so much easier. I'd be like, oh shit, I should be doing it like that. Like, why am I stretching like this, or like?
Yeah, I don't need to add the pinky.
Yeah, stuff like that.
For power chords.
Mm-hmm.
Power chords really built my confidence to pick up any song, because as soon as I can get a key of the song, I just do root fifth power chords for temporary placements of songs.
Power chords will take you a long, long way.
Yeah.
I mean, in just about 90% of Green Day songs.
And now Machine Gun Kelly songs.
Right.
70%.
AC/DC's got some more like actual chords.
Yeah. First position chords.
Yeah. Beginner chords.
Yeah.
Everyone always says that's with like the starter songs, AC/DC, because there's just like 3 chord melodies.
Yeah. I think my first song that I learned, and I actually performed within months, I learned Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple.
Everyone learns that, dude.
But I remember learning a different version of it when another guitarist, I think they had like a new lineup change at one point, and they decided to re-record that song. And like the original solo was great on the song, but then I learned like a whole different guitarist's approach to it. And that's kind of what it made me realize, like, oh, this song on the radio, like, people are going to get used to hearing this version of the song. But once you dig deep and check out different versions of songs, whether it's live or with different members recording, you start to see different personalities that add pieces to the song, whether it fits or not. And that's what reminded me, like, a song's a song. But as soon as you add, like, different elements, like different members of a band, different performance situations, you're going to get different energy from it. And that's kind of what got me into learning cover songs immediately, because I'm not just learning guitar songs, I'm learning whole songs and trying to play every part to them.
See, that's where we're different, because like I just learned the gist of songs, and learn the, like, I guess like the rudiment, like fingerings of stuff, and like the chord progressions, and then like obviously the skill behind it to actually play it. But I rarely like learn a whole song. Yeah. It's just the gist, a riff, basically just taking this piece here, and building my own like style, I guess.
I mean, Guns N' Roses, when they recorded Appetite for Destruction, like, they thought that they were done recording songs whenever they did like the simple chords and few Slash solos, but they added some extra riffs during verses and stuff, especially in Welcome to the Jungle alone. Like, Slash's extra little licks just add to that song. It serves the song, really. It adds more character and tension. It's not just a boy band dancing in front of a screen for a music video. It's musicians adding more character and more tension to a song.
The guitar licks make or break shit, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just that little fucking like lick in the middle of a fucking chord or whatever.
And John Mayer nails that too.
Oh, dude, he's the best. Yeah, he's got the best licks. Dude, I'm a huge John Mayer fan. I mean, he's a Juilliard school musician. Knows music theory back and forth. Has played with like the best musicians out there. His keyboard player is Michael Jackson's keyboard player now. Yep. It's crazy, dude. Like, they have this ensemble band of just absolute superstars that he plays with.
He picks people that are ready to represent these songs and perform on stage.
And speaking of ready, like, for the Grateful Dead to pick him to replace Garcia like that, that's not like, I wouldn't want to play that.
I'll be honest. I was afraid of getting into Grateful Dead because of the drug culture stuff, being honest. But as soon as John Mayer got added to that mix, I'm like, okay, now I gotta hear him play these songs.
Exactly.
Oh, these are beautiful. What the fuck was I thinking? Being afraid.
I was the same way. I was never really into Grateful Dead, but as soon as Mayer was in, I was like, oh okay, I'll check it out. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I should have got tickets. I really should have got tickets to one of those shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Green Day shows and people would offer me weed. If I went to a Grateful Dead show, I probably would have dropped acid. But nah, I'll be real. Like,
That's a win in Rome situation, right?
yeah, I mean, I don't think people need to be pushed as hard to. I mean, I don't think people need to be pushed so hard to get into different music or different drugs and stuff. You know, I think people need to. I think people need to build themselves up spiritually in the state that they're already in before they decide to alter their state, you know, their point of view, state of mind.
That's a good point, man. A lot of people are in a hurry, though. You know, they just want to hurry up and get there.
Well, are they in a hurry to find a new self? Are they in a hurry to get to a next chapter in life and they think they have to find a new self to get there? Or you just got to keep being yourself and just do little tweaks to find your own role, even though I remember when my first band, Civic Duty, broke up. The band with Connor. We broke up just because we disagreed on a contract, just recording contract we were offered, and I accepted that. I accepted that I didn't have enough songs ready, and I didn't know enough about the business. And I still have more guitar playing to learn before I really make a jump like that.
Yeah, that's just humility.
And, like, it was going to be me as a songwriter for the band. Connor definitely being a great influence on telling me what sounds good, but it was pressure on me. So the last show that we did at Civic Duty, I remember we performed. I'm trying to remember the sequence of what happened. Either we performed first or this other band, Limerick, performed, or other way around, but after both of our sets, after Limerick performed, I went over to them, you know, helped them, you know, put their stuff off stage, you know, and just complimented, like, I was blown away by their songs, you know, energy on stage. It was like if Green Day met Blink-182, but also just a crazy drummer like Keith Moon, you know.
Wow.
And, I met one of my first jam musician friends, consistent jam musician friends. His name is Dylan Stock, a drummer of Limerick. After we met then, there was a little bit of time, but after like a good couple of months, I finally made my way over to their part of town in Waxahachie, Red Oak, and just sat in on one of their rehearsals. They just went through the songs, and I think they invited me to this other gig they had in Deep Ellum. And then they handed me their CD, their demo that they had at the time. They said, "Oh yeah, just learn these songs. We want to hear what your guitar part would sound like to it." You know, that's all it was at that point. And then
That's always a daunting task.
Yeah.
Like when a band just like, here's our shit, learn it.
Well, they weren't inviting me to the band per se. They just wanted to hear, like, they heard what I was like with Civic Duty, but they wanted to see what I'm really like as a guitarist.
Sure, yeah.
Because their songs compared to what I was writing it was like, not Blink-182. I don't know why I compared them to Blink. They sound like Foo Fighters. They sound like Foo Fighters, like all the different members of Foo Fighters that went through them. You know, Dave Grohl has like the straight up rhythm, and his other guitarist, Pat Smear, has a loud factor. And then their lead player, Chris Shiflett, just has his own layer. And whenever you listen to the modern Foo Fighters sound, you hear the individual layers. And that's what I heard from Limerick, the individual layers that they had. Like, the bassist wasn't just camping at the root. He was doing riffs over a hung chord for however many bars.
That's cool, yeah.
And every part didn't feel out of place. I didn't feel bored with the songs listening to them. And by the time I would see them live, whenever they invited me, it would be a little bit different from what I heard, but I got to know their personality through those recordings to where I can guess what they're going to do live. And I especially had a good relationship with their guitarist Wesley. We hung out in those band jam sessions and stuff. You know, just fed off each other, tried to do extra lead licks over their songs. But I invited him to this guitar convention, and we just walked, in between the booths, the Gibson booth, the small mom and pop shop guitar.
You go to the Dallas Guitar Convention?
Yep.
Dude, I love that one.
And Guitarlington, I go to those every year.
I miss it like damn near every year, but like I've been twice and it's so cool, dude. You can get pedals on the low there, super low.
I mean, these are the only two guitars I will never sell. I'm not letting go of these for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's how it is with this one. Like I can part ways with just about every other one except for the Fender.
Yeah, I'm thinking one of these times I'm gonna get the whole rest of my equipment and find something cool, something that really stands out in my eye to trade it. I'll keep my equipment in my car until I find it, but I grab gear because I have an emotional attachment to it. And whenever me and Wes were going across the halls in the guitar convention, I kept on asking him anything that stands out, anything you want to take home, and he said, "All right, I have my budget. I can probably haggle some prices." But I heard what he sounds like on the record, on the demo that we heard. But hearing him jam on these guitars he's never played before, kind of style guitars he's never played before. He's a Les Paul guy, much like me. But he was trying out Stratocasters, Telecasters, all these different models, from Fender. He also tried a Charvel San Medina's model, really good super shredder type guitar. But I could tell he was changing his style to try to fit a guitar. And each time, like, he and I would share eye contact, and I'd be like, next booth, let's.
Yeah.
And every time he found a guitar that looked good, I just kept on handing him guitars, not even looking at the price tags. And he's like, "Oh, this Gibson Les Paul, how much is it?" $1,500. Fuck.
Yeah, I did the same thing though, dude. Like I go to the Guitar Center and then I'm just like, I see one. The really nice ones are up top, obviously. Oh, yeah. But all the ones at like surface level and shit, you walk up to like obviously the nicest one and you pick it up and you're like, "Oh shit, never mind."
I mean, I think instead of showing off that you're selling $1,000 guitar, I think instead, and this is kind of a thing that I really look for in guitar culture, the respect in guitar shops. Don't just be a garage guitarist and walk into a shop like you own the place. You're just gonna grab the $2,000 guitar, sit, amp, turn it up all the way.
Well, I mean, rule number one when you buy a guitar is to ask for the one in the back because you don't want the floor model.
Oh yeah.
Because that one's been, like you said, they walk in, just fucking sit down with it and start strumming real hard on it, or whatever it might be.
A lot of beginners, a lot of the garage band guys. Mm-hmm. But I think what they should do instead, they should start having signs in front of the price tag saying "Ask before you touch." Let the kids pick up the entry level guitars and go crazy on them, but put the high value guitars on the high level, and don't let people see the price tags.
You gotta ask.
I remember when I got this guitar. It was actually gifted to me from my late mom, Amy Raney, and I remember frequenting at this guitar center, the same Plano Guitar Center I went to since 2006. Man, I forgot what year it was. Probably 2012, 2013, same year as this model. But my mom said she was picking me up from Guitar Center like after school, and she said, "Hey, your birthday's coming up. Why don't you look for a guitar to buy?" I'm like, "Oh, finally!" I've just been having like entry level guitars. I had a Ibanez Les Paul copy and an Epiphone Les Paul too.
Sure, yeah.
And it was pretty small. I knew what made Gibson sound good. The extra weight to it, higher valued parts, pickups and stuff. But I remember when my mom told me to pick a guitar, I was just looking eye level, bottom level, $70, $200. She said, Dill, any guitar you want. She probably would have told you this if you got to meet her, but she says my neck cracked looking up at the Gibsons for the first
time. Like a cartoon scene.
Yeah. And I remember just picking a guitar without looking at the price tag, and I said before, like, Gibson, you get a good Gibson guitar at $1,500, but this 2000, all right, I need to get the year right because I need to get it right. 2012 Gibson Les Paul Studio. It costed $799 back in that time.
That's wild, dude.
And when I plugged it in, it was magic.
That's probably like half the price it is now.
Exactly. The new modern studios are $1,400, $1,500.
Yeah, I think when I bought my Fender in 2014, I think it was like $500. It's a Mexico Fender.
So yeah, Mexico.
Yeah, it's a Mexico model. It's not a American, but yeah, it was only $500.
Yeah, and I think this was from the Nashville. I think this is from the Nashville Gibson factory, and I got this guitar and just brought it to school. I think that's how I got Connor's attention. Actually, I got a new guitar, and yeah, he saw me playing with it in lunch, and he said, "Oh, new guitar! You got a new case with it too. Let's test it out in my garage." I think that's how the conversation went.
Right. Let me ask you this about Guitar Center real quick. When you go to Guitar Center, do they immediately run to you and like, can I help you? Like, do you need me to get something for you? Like,
When it's a new guy.
yeah.
And it's funny, like I went, I think around a week ago just to get new strings, and this new employee, he and I shared eye contact as soon as I went through the door, but I could tell he was busy with the customer, and I was just hanging out in the bass section, playing through, and as soon as the customer he was with walked out the door, sorry, got a little gas. Pardon me. As soon as the customer was out the door, he didn't walk over to me because there was another customer that was immediately walking up trying to get his attention first. He literally says to the customer, "Hold on, wait. Sir, if you need any help from me, just let me know. I'm going to be busy for a bit." And I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
And I just kept on playing in front of this bass amp. And I remember just picking up different basses off the walls, me doing it. And I would look back at the place that they were checking out customers. And then I found one of my old favorite employees. His name is Johnny. I don't know what position he's in now, but he used to be head of the drum department. He walked over to the guy, whispered him something, and
You go to the one down the street here
Plano.
off 635.
No.
Oh, so you're going to I know which one.
75 and Parker. I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I went to since 2003. But
I always go to this one down here. That's where I bought that Fender and everything. Yeah.
So that day I was just in the bass section. Wasn't really there for any particular reason. I was just trying to pick up strings. So I get up from the bass section, go pick up my strings, put them back in my car, and this is a secret. If you really want respect from the employees in a guitar shop, buy a pair of strings. At least give them some of your money before you just pick up any guitar that you want. And I swear, as soon as I picked up the strings, bought them, dropped them off in my car, came back, I was trying to go back to the bass section because I was really interested in the bass amp that I was trying. But then this other kid went up and plugged into it. Now the exact same guy that said, to help, that he offered to help me, he was kind of on the kid's case. I could tell the kid was, I guess, a beginner guitar player or I guess beginner bassist. He was playing it pretty good. But the guy said, "Hey, ask permission before you just grab stuff off hangers," even though I was
Yeah.
without permission.
Dude, anytime I run into Guitar Center, they just like swarm me. Can I get anything for you? Need anything? Yeah.
Yeah. Whether they were trying to get a sale or if they're just looking after their equipment, But by the time that kid was out the door, he didn't buy anything at the end of the day. I was just in the regular guitar section picking up the Gibsons.
I'm guilty of that too, though. I'll go into Guitar Center just to play.
Yeah.
We just walk around, check out shit.
And whenever I know I want to just play, I just make sure to get strings just to,
Yeah.
get them a little bit in my business.
Right.
Also, because secretly I really wanted to work at that location, but I'm not the best at selling products. Really.
See, dude, that's the thing. Like, I'd like to work at Guitar Center. One, they just don't pay enough.
Yeah.
Two, like, I'm not a salesman. Like, I can't, like, I don't want to sell shit to you. Like, you either want it or you don't, dude. Like, I don't know.
Otherwise, you're just a musician picking up a paycheck and letting the customer pick their own poison,
Yeah, so, like, I've always, like, said that, like, when I, like, retire eventually, I'd like to just be, like, a luthier, just working guitars.
Yeah, I'd love to build guitars, man.
Yeah, like, how cool would that be? Like, you just working guitars all day and maybe have your own shop or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's, dude, not many guitar, like, standalone shops. I've seen like one or two around here, like standalone guitar shops. You know.
Not just a line of guitar shops that are popping up multiple locations across.
Yeah. No, it's like so and so's guitar shop. You know, and they
pop shots.
exactly.
That's what I call them,
Yeah, exactly. Need more of those. There's a good one in Rockwall. What's it called? Morrison
Guitars.
Morrison.
I've seen their booth. I've seen their booth at the guitar conventions.
They've got some killer guitars in there too. They focus on more acoustics.
Yeah.
I think they have a deal with Taylor.
Same thing with Tone Shop Guitars. I actually frequent at that other shop, and
Right.
they're partnered with Taylor too.
Yeah. So I guess you just get the buy into their whatever they have, and they just flood you with whatever. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. What's your favorite guitar that you have though, as far as like playing and your tried and true like number one? You know, Stevie Ray had like the one he called it his number one.
Well, 6 strings to play on and to catch up on my licks. I mean, it would be a tie between these two, but it really just depends on the situation. Like playing fast, running through scales fast, bending notes, Les Paul, less tension on the strings, steel strings. But if I want to try to write a song, chords, man, try to sing on top of it. You do not want to hear me sing. I'm not going to sing today, but whenever I'm trying to write songs, I always write on the acoustic. I always write on this same acoustic, same
Right.
one that survived a crash from Second Story.
So what about gear? What's your favorite piece of gear that you have?
Let's see. I'll show them in frame.
Yeah, pick it up. Yeah, so Dylan's brought his whole little mini half stack, got all his pedals on the floor there.
Yeah, I'll show these two. Pair of pedals I got.
Pair of pedals.
This one, actually I have to read to reconfirm what it is. All right, EH 4600 full chorus. It's a small clone by Electro-Harmonix. This was the same chorus pedal used on Nirvana's In Utero album.
Yep.
I bought it off I think Robert Lang. Yeah, Robert Lang Studios, a reverb shop. And as soon as I saw it, I bid my bid, which was actually pretty close to how much it sold for back then. And
So just to be clear, that's the one.
the one.
That's the one from Nirvana's album.
I think I added a few more scratches. I'm using this pedal.
Yeah.
I'm not just hanging it like a trophy. I'm using this pedal, adding a few extra scratches.
see?
Go for it.
So this is most likely Kurt's pedal.
Yeah.
Used by Kurt, at least, right?
Yeah, it was used. It was used just in the studio. Kirk didn't bring it out again. He bought his own. He bought his own small clones for a tour, for him to smash up eventually.
Oh, so this is just the studio one.
Yeah, it's just.
I got you. Okay.
Sorry, not Kirk's personally owned. Just
Gotcha.
owned one.
Still cool as hell though.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. And I forgot what I used it on. I used it as a layer for Connor's song "Forever," and I'll play through the song later.
Yeah. Let's play through those after you show me this next one.
Oh yeah, and this is the Green Day Dookie pedal, but this was a limited run for Father of All Motherfuckers, and it has the unicorn decal on it.
Yeah, I love this pedal.
And I only use that pedal just as an extra gain stage. I have a Tube Screamer clone, the Bonsai Tube Screamer clone. I just
Classic.
I just use the regular Tube.
If you're like, you're not a real guitar player if you don't have a Tube Screamer.
Oh no.
You have to have the Ibanez, like some sort of green pedal has to be in your lineup, or I'm not taking you seriously. You got to have that fucking that Tube Screamer in there somewhere. And you've got the one that's got like every year model, right?
Oh yeah. I don't think they forget anything. I was sold on the pedal when Anderton's Music. I think I forgot which city. I won't give false information. It's a guitar store in the UK, and I watched their YouTube channel for like years. And
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, they were. They were pretending that they were literally going through multiple different Tube Screamer pedals, but the guitarist demoing was, his vision was obscured of what actual pedal was being used, which was the Bonsai Tube Screamer. And
no way.
and all they were doing was just turning the knob through the different patches, and the guitarist had to guess which Tube Screamer model. It was.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
And he got a good amount of them right.
Yeah.
But I think it was the pedal's own version of the Tube Screamer that the guitarist played through at the end. He said that is not a Tube Screamer. That's not. That is something different. That is from a pedal company I've not heard of. And he kind of had a tone like he didn't like it, but
That's a crazy ear to be able to catch that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do that.
But by the time it was revealed, the guitarist Rob Chapman, I'll just say his name, Rob Chapman, he had a surprised look on his face. He's like, "No way! All of that was just from one pedal. You guys should buy this."
Yeah, a nice little ad right there.
Exactly, and that would be a great occupation for me to do too. For me to catch up my fingers, show off all these different cool techniques, and I'm trying to add that to these guitar products I'm trying to sell, whether it's a whole guitar, amp, pedals, or even amp attenuators. I don't know if you ever heard of that. You can use the full output you want on your amp, roll the volume all the way up, but you can also plug in an attenuator to lessen the whole volume output.
Oh, okay.
So you can push the tubes all the way.
That's nice.
And just less the volume.
See, dude, that's fucking clever as hell.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I got to try it out one time with I'm using my Marshall JCM 800.
You usually don't have the space to just fucking scream like that, and you don't get the full sound of tubes unless you turn it up like that.
Being a introvert bedroom guitarist, and also one that goes to Guitar Center all the time, you're always afraid of amp volume.
That's how I am, dude. I don't want to be that guy that's like playing loudly or just like over the top or whatever.
And it's not because I'm worried about noise complaint. I'm actually pretty conscious of my playing. Like, do I sound good? Is it really a waste of someone's ears?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you make noise, you make noise. If you're loud while doing whatever you're doing, playing video games, yelling at football, you're loud. But if you're making sounds that are bad to the ear, that's a big no. And one thing, this is a big pet peeve I have with some guitarists that play live. This is a pet peeve I have. I don't like guitarists that whenever they do their guitar solos, they drag on a sustain note and feedback, and it's out of key. It's just noise for the sake of noise.
Yeah, just to make the feedback or whatever. Yeah.
And not enough guitarists know, but whenever you do feedback, aiming your microphones on the guitar, aiming at the speaker and your amp, you can change your angle that you're facing it at to get different harmonics from a sustain note. You can either get a perfect fifth, perfect fourth, minor third, major third, music theory.
It's wild how you can pick up those frequencies like that.
Just based on your angle and how far you stand away from it too. Because whenever you push your amp volume all the way, push the tubes and also add gain stages with pedals, you can get cool feedback techniques. And I can't really think like which guitarist really inspired me on that. I'll just say the band Toadies. Their biggest hits use the feedback and breaks the songs, and that serves the song. That's not just noise for the sake of noise. That's melodic noise, adding tension to a song, giving character to a band.
Yeah, I love the Toadies. They're sick.
Every time I saw them live, it just, I gotta hear this song. I don't listen to that enough. And Rubberneck, their Rubberneck album, I just listen to that in full. Every time. I don't just listen to Possum Kingdom. I don't just listen to Tyler.
Yeah.
From the Water, another great song. I listen to the whole fucking album.
That's really what put me onto them, though, is I Come From the Water. Because it was so, like, just different.
That was one of the covers that Jet had me learn.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. It was in the same vein of, like, Peaches.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like an out there kind of tune,
It also reminded me of... oh my God, Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin.
Right.
It's just how the first note starts with a little bend, and you add different character. You can start it with a bent note and just keep doing single notes, adding to that. Or you can add chords to have different tension.
A lot of songs are like that, dude. You'll find that like it's the same chord, but it's just how you play it, and it sounds sonically different. So you'll end up like the tabs will look like you're just playing the same chord, but you have to play it differently.
You got to listen to the record. And one thing that helped me play guitar I'm self-taught. I've had a few lessons. Went through School of Rock for like one semester, but I would just watch YouTube videos of Guns N' Roses, Scorpions, and Green Day, and just
Yeah.
watch the left hand of the guitarist. Matthias Strabs from Scorpions, fucking killer player. Like, his solos on those records, on the singles, are great, but watching his performance live in the Explorer kind of body shape guitar.
I love Explorers, dude. Like honestly, like if I could get a Gibson Explorer, it's such a like it's just like an iconic shape, dude.
That was I literally wanted that guy's guitar. He had the black stripes at the end of the White Explorer.
Hell yeah.
That was the dream guitar.
Those are so sick, dude. And the thing about those, kind of like a Flying V, you have to strap them
Yeah.
because you can't play them in your lap. If you get a Flying V, you know, like when you set it in your lap, you have to play it like this.
Yeah. And that's good for Instagram too.
Yeah, right. It's good for I guess hand structure too, but yeah, that's just one of those guitars you have to play standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And whenever I think Explorers, you just think about these characters that use Explorers.
dude, Hetfield.
Yeah, James Hetfield, Rick Nielsen. Oh my God. I feel so bad forgetting his name. The guitarist from Lynyrd Skynyrd. His licks on
Nah, I can't remember his name either.
yeah, the Freebird solo.
Yeah.
That's an example.
But I think Hetfield was the guy that made me want one. Yeah, he makes them look sick.
His signature models with ESP, the LTD models too. They do look great, but they sound fucking killer.
Yeah.
Every time I try them on at the guitar shops. But here's my thing with gear. I respect guitar manufacturers that they're trying to just get their products sold, but as soon as you add a signature that sounds better than your usual line, it kind of gives a sour look to the casual guitar player that's maybe not a fan of Metallica.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah.
And
You don't want to have to pay or buy the Metallica one just to get the sound you want.
and sometimes you get the name scribble on the headstock,
Yeah.
truss rod cover, stuff like that.
What do you think about, speaking of John Mayer, you saw his latest model that came out. It looks just like a Strat.
Yeah, the Silver Sky.
Yeah, but it's a Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah,
Looks just like a Strat.
it plays great. The price point is the price point. It's expensive, but
You're paying for that John Mayer scribble on the headstock.
you're also paying for Paul Reed Smith trying to sound like a Strat that John Mayer would like. Sure, you're playing John Mayer's guitar, but I like signature guitars where it's more in the hands of the guitar company, and they're just going through trial and error, sending different prototypes to the guitarist.
It might be biased, but like honestly, dude, like my favorite signature guitar is Stevie's. Like Stevie Ray's, like they even put the fucking like gold hardware on it. They reversed the tremolo on it, like his was. It's like to a T, like his fucking guitar.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Fender waited so long to do the same with Jimi Hendrix signature models.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they flipped, they just had a right-handed guitar for a lefty, or other way around, left-handed guitar for a righty.
I think that probably has to do with the Hendrix estate, dude. They don't sell anything unless they all approve of it,
And they.
That's why that's why you rarely see like Hendrix stuff unless it's like a knockoff. You rarely see like official Hendrix memorabilia.
Gibson actually got to release a guitar for a small amount of time using Hendrix's name, approved by the Hendrix estate.
Right.
And it wasn't a Strat. At least the neck of the guitar wasn't a faithful Strat. It lined up, the top of the headstock lined up like a Strat, but it still felt like a Gibson Explorer neck,
I love how like Dean kind of took the Explorer and ran with it.
Yeah.
And made the Razorback.
And fucking Dean's signature models with fucking Dave Mustaine were awesome.
Yeah.
Whenever I tried them at Guitar Center, it made me want to listen to.
Well, I mean, not even Mustaine, but what about Dimebag Darrell, dude? His fucking signatures are so sick.
Yeah,
I really don't think you can get that pinched harmonic on any other guitar except for his model, like Dean.
Yeah, the pickups he has, and the fact that his whammy bar, was stayed angled back there, and you
can kind of flutter it.
Yeah, flutter it, exactly, for that guitar technique. I got to play one of his. Okay, I'm trying to remember the story, just so that way there's no false information. I got to try one of his signature models used by him. I think he play tested it for a live gig, one of his stops in Texas, and I think it was approved. So I don't know if it's like an immediate prototype, but I was I was let to borrow for one of the cover band gigs with Jet, and I was playing American Idiot. These power chord heavy, more simple songs
On this big ass metal guitar.
Yeah, I feel awkward. It was my first time playing with Floyd Rose.
I know how that feels, dude. Because when I was in a metal band, I was playing on a Strat. It looks out of place, but I mean, you can make it metal, but it looks out of place.
One thing that makes a metal guitar sound metal is how they angle their pick.
Mm-hmm.
From string to string, whether it's playing a whole chord or doing your sweep picking, really. A lot of blues guitarists focus strictly on how hard they strike the strings, whether they have thick strings or not.
Yeah, you're getting a different sound.
And they keep the same pick angle being straight with their index or middle finger, And also the angle in which you strike the guitar, you can either strum down, across, upward,
Sweep.
Yeah, sweep.
Yeah.
But how metal guitarists sweep pick, they don't just strike across the strings, straight on. They angle the pick a little bit more on the flat side.
Yep. That's what I do.
And they diagonal attack it basically up and down.
Yep. And depending on how your attack is, you can just whoop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Marty Freeman, oh my God, his licks on the Megadeth records are beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So let's walk through your pedal board, man.
Okay. Plug it in. I'm gonna have to turn on my loud amp, so it's gonna be heard.
It might get loud.
Hopefully to your liking. I always put on a strap whether I'm standing up or sitting down.
Is this a rule of thumb of yours?
Yeah, because if you really want to play if you want to play comfortably, you can be in a performance mood and stand up and let the guitar straddle. I like to let my guitar be right in front of my belt buckle, so that way whenever it rubs up against my leg, I can feel the chords through my body, each strike of the string. But it does help to stand your guitar on your leg, so that way you're just at chest length and you're not letting your arm go all the way down.
It's totally different playing style too, from sitting down and standing up. Like pre-show, I got to get used to playing standing up again, because I sit at home and just play all the time.
Hold on, I'm still trying to get some sound
You're
out.
fine, dude. We got nothing but. It's all good. There it is. Found the one.
All right, so this is going to be my guitar sound straight out of the amp. Of course, with whatever frequencies buzzing.
You know that old like guitar joke? Let me hear your clean tone.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with Les Paul guitars, I'm on this pickup, I'm on this mic, and I have to roll the volume down almost to 1 or 2. And
It's that hot? Oh, wow, yeah.
roll it down to 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's my clean tone, and this is my loud tone without any pedals. I need to get one Green Day riff out of the way. I'm such a fucking...
Let's hear it, man.
And I'll pick one of your favorites. I saw you doing one of your stories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love Hitching a Ride.
And now I'm going to do the same riff, but I'm going to plug in my tube screamer, my Bonsai tube screamer. Yeah, a little bit more buzz on the low end, but as soon as I add the Dookie pedal,
Yeah, that kind of balanced it out. Yeah.
yeah. I play, whenever I play covers, I used to really want to play just like the record, but I realized like I'm my own player, I'm my own guitarist, I'm my own person.
Exactly.
I just gotta enjoy the music. That's the best way you can get through a song, playing it faithfully, is if you're really enjoying your time on stage, and you're not sick of the song,
Yeah, no,
whether you wrote it or you didn't.
I'm the same way, dude. Like, that's why I learned the gist of things, because I don't want to. I guess part of me doesn't want to learn the whole thing, so I don't get too influenced and only play that way. Stay more original, I guess.
And guitar players do call each other on that. Like, oh, you're just a Green Day copycat. Oh, you're just a Metallica copycat. Oh, you're just trying to sound like Tool.
Dude, but Green Day. Just talk about Green Day for a minute. That was like still one of my favorite fucking bands, dude. And like I remember when American Idiot came out, dude, it was just such a like slam on the scene, dude. Like at the time, like nothing was out like that, and I remember it just like grabbed me, and like that's just all I wanted to listen to was that whole fucking like track, dude.
And they didn't have a release. They didn't have a whole album release before then. Well, they had a greatest hits collection, had a couple of new tracks.
It was a while though.
Yeah, I think 2002, 2001, I think, but I think in 1999 or 2000 they came out with the Warning album, and it was so different from what got them on the map, Dookie.
Yeah.
All the singles off that, and when Warning came out, it was a lot more personal songs from Billy Joe, the songwriter, a lot more acoustic elements. They had a one song called Misery. It kind of reminded me of Sopranos and Godfather, that stuff. Man, that kind of makes me think. I kind of wish they did one of James Bond's themes.
That'd be kind of cool. Green Day cover of that.
And Billie Eilish loved Green Day, so that would have been a great opportunity to get them both on the same soundtrack. I personally think.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
But yeah, American Idiot. It was so welcomed by the rock world because Green Day were known to camp at a certain sound after their first record.
Yeah.
Or at least after their Insomniac.
This was really like a breakthrough sound for them. Yeah.
And they really.
And now they're like identified by that sound, which is crazy,
They did American Idiot, and they had these songs that blended into each other, like The Who record, like a Quadrophenia or a Tommy. They had these rock opera, super special songs. They also did The Who cover off 21st Century Breakdown bonus track, a quick one while he's away. They did it on that. And yeah, 21st Century Breakdown was a good follow-up after American Idiot, but here's my opinion. They really try to just bank off American Idiot with that record. And the only two songs that are played as a live staple off that record were Know Your Enemy, Do You Know Your Enemy? It just has a good, memorable, guitar hook. And that's like maybe 60% of the whole song,
Yeah, right.
And whenever they did the
riff rock.
Yeah, good riff rock, but when they recorded that record and it sounded so much like American Idiot, it was a step up. The guitar solos and I guess recording techniques were a lot better. They instead of recording with Rob Cavallo, they recorded with I feel so bad forgetting his name now. The same guy that did Nirvana's Nevermind. They decided to record with him instead. It'll come back to me later randomly, but I could tell that the layering really helped him utilize more different guitar, because when Green Day came out with American Idiot, they actually filmed the process of it and eventually released it many years later.
Yeah, Bullet in a Bible, right? Yeah, that's my favorite.
Actually, that concert film, they didn't show enough footage of the recording process, though.
Yeah, there really wasn't. It was just mainly on the concert at Milton Keynes.
And I think the film that showed the American Idiot process was Heart Like a Hand Grenade.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, and so many good memories as a Green Day fan to just watch happen, especially Billy Joe crying over I think it was either When September Ends or What's Her Name. He was just crying to his best friend Mike Dirnt, laying down the bass part. I think that's the last thing that needed to be done in that record. And he said he was hungover, and he was just crying over those emotions. But I think everyone in that room knew that this record would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Album of the year. And it got a fucking Tony Award for the musical version of it, American Idiot on Broadway.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they did a whole ass musical about that.
Mm-hmm. And I remember doing a report on it for my theater teacher, and it was the grade that kept me with the passing. It was the assignment that kept me with the passing grade. I almost failed theater. How the fuck do you fail theater? I mean, I don't know. You just don't show up to class. You don't.
Yep.
You don't practice your practice your projects enough. But yeah, when Green Day were done with when Green Day were done showing off, touring 21st Century Breakdown, they had a small break. They had a small break, and then they came out with Uno Dos Tres, and it was a collection of songs that they just had to.
Honestly, never got into those.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was just kind of a flop for me.
It reminded me of a band that's trying to sound like AC/DC, Cheap Trick, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
A lot of power pop stuff like the Beatles, But it also just sounded like a Green Day record. Green Day were sounding like the typical Green Day sound that they were sounding like before American Idiot again. Now, as a fan, as soon as I listened to the trilogy, I actually listened back to those records a lot during that time. Also because I was in a relationship at the time, in my feels, And then I went back to the other Green Day records I didn't listen to enough, Nimrod. And that's when I fell in love with Hitchin' a Ride, that single off it, and all the other singles.
That's my favorite song from them, dude.
Yeah.
It's so, like, just out of place. Not typically, like, what they do.
Yeah, it reminded people of Alley Cats, Stray Cats. It reminded them of the
Yeah, yeah.
And it had a little chromaticism, kind of like they did for Brain Stew. I think it's in a different tuning, but I'll compare the two. Brain Stew. And Hitchin' a Ride.
Yeah, real chromatic.
Yeah, and that's how you kind of sound metal in a way. Really, you're not just camping at like a major minor key 1-4-5. One of their influences, Ramones.
Yeah, I love the Ramones too.
Well, okay, I have to do one more riff from them.
Oh yeah. Ramones was the band that like got me into punk music, and
those records.
Yeah, it went from the Ramones, and then I studied like the whole listened to like the whole fucking like catalog of like classic punk, and then got into like No Effects.
Yes.
No Effects for me was like the punk band.
I'm sort of glad for them. I'm happy for them that they're gonna take a break. Or stop. They're gonna.
Yeah,
stop.
they said they're splitting up. Like they're doing their last year or whatever. Mm-hmm. Fat Mike is over it, I guess.
Yeah,
that dude's a mess anyway, though.
He's a mess, but he really did keep the glue together for, the punk scene. Really,
Mm-hmm.
not just pop punk as a whole, not Machine Gun Kelly, but he helped so many bands recatch their drive, signing them onto their record distribution. I think,
right.
Fat Chords Records, I think. or rec chords. I forgot what it is.
I don't, no idea.
But I respected NoFX in the stance of they stuck with their sound, they stuck with their theme of songwriting,
Mm-hmm.
but also, golly, Fat Mike knows how to raise some eyebrows with his
Dude,
performance
that's what I was about to say.
banner.
He's never afraid to be offensive.
Yeah,
Never.
please. He calls out guitarists on their guitar technique, and whenever he recorded bands, he said, "Your guitar is great. You love it. You love your guitar. I'm gonna show you a better sounding guitar." And it was just I think a Jaguar or something, or I don't know. It was another offset model, but he said that guitar helped make him break a lot of punk records that they recorded for
Sure.
bands. And I want to say Descendants used it, one of my other favorite punk bands, but
Yeah, I love them too.
they probably didn't. And I actually have a story. And whenever I bring up the names of people that like I mentioned like influenced me, like it can either just be from one meeting or just me re-catching up with them. And my friend Jet had an impact on me definitely for me starting out as a musician, but I was visiting Sam Mash just to change strings on my guitar that I hadn't touched in like a couple of months. And I actually took a break from guitar for a couple of months after my mom passed away. I also took a break from school too. But I went to the Dallas location in Sam Ash and just wanted to get some new strings. Instead of me going closer to in town, Plano Guitar Center, I just wanted a different guitar shop.
Yeah, sure.
And it was my first time going to that location. I met the drummer from Descendants there, Bill Stevenson.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I was lucky. I was lucky to meet him because I just remember walking in, getting the strings, going back to my car, and I'm like, I'll try out some new guitars, fuck it. And I decided to walk over to the drum section, and I think he was just getting new sticks or some shit, restocking for his tour stop. But I just randomly struck up conversation with him, having no idea who he was. I didn't listen to Descendants, Black Flag, all before meeting him.
That's kind of heavy punk stuff to be into.
Yeah. And
heavy in the scene anyway.
Oh yeah, influence alone. Like the bands that came up after those bands started making records. Green Day inspired so many people, but there were pop punk bands even before Green Day that eventually inspired Green Day too, I think. Mm-hmm. So like I just started a random conversation with him. I asked him like, what makes you pick your favorite thing of sticks? And I forgot his specific response, but one thing that he said in that tangent he went on stuck with me. He said, as long as you find yourself in the music, don't let go of it. Don't let go of it until you think you've mastered your angle at it. Whatever you do, whether you're great at playing chords, ripping shred solos, if you
find your niche.
If you smash the fuck out of your drums on time, with good
absolutely, technique. Find what you're good at and stick to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, Bill followed me to the guitar section. I kind of felt a little bit intimidated, not because I knew him at that point, knew who he was, but they're just like, this guy's kind of being fast friends with me, whatever. So I plugged into a Marshall stack, and I played at a certain volume, but then Bill just moves his hand across the master volume, cranks it up almost all the way, and I started playing, and then looking around at the employees, and the employees gave me a thumbs up for some reason.
Yeah.
And I just played through songs I knew, covers, and he said, all right, now show me some of your stuff. I know those covers. I know those Green Day songs. I got sick of those. Like, okay, fine. Let me show you stuff I did with Civic Duty, stuff I was doing with Connor at the time, and he was impressed with them. And he said, all right, now freestyle. Whatever you're good at, freestyle, and just try to make a whole 3-minute thing. Like, he was kind of teaching me. Like, how to be put on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And how to respond to something in your comfort zone or out. And if someone wants to hear you shred, they want to hear you shred. If they want to hear you play a cover song, you play it.
That's kind of the curse of being like the guitar player, because they're like, play Monkey Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Play your songs.
Play Wonderwall.
Yeah, exactly.
But with the command he gave me, he said, all right, now make a composition. Don't just freestyle. make something that sounds like it's put together. And I don't know if I can play it again now, but it was just a good collection of chords. I jumped keys a little bit, and he said, "Dylan, you remind me of my old friend Frank Nevada, which was the first Descendants guitarist that played on the early Descendants records, all the way up to Milo Goes to College, which was their sentimental, famous release." And I didn't know how heavy that statement was until I looked up who they were. And now here's the thing: he left the store before me, and I just unplugged my guitar, got ready to walk out the store, and then the guy that gave me the thumbs up, he said, "Dylan, you know who that was, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No." And he said, "Well, look up these bands." Oh, you know what? I'm gonna buy. He literally bought me a Descendants documentary film. He bought me that and just had me watch it. And by the time I was done with that, I was a fanboy. I was such a big fan of their music. It was a combination of teenage angst, loud vocals from a fucking school nerd.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, as soon as they were done recording Milo Goes to College, the singer left to finish college because he wanted to go to college. And that's when the guitarist, Frank Nevada, quit the band, actually, to, I think, just move with his family or something. He literally set all of his equipment on fire and moved to be with his family instead.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, and from what Bill said in the documentary, they had a real rooted, deep friendship that was beyond the music. And when I heard he passed away many years, before me and Bill meeting, and when he said that, like, I took that to a good heart. And I went to every concert in Dallas that they showed up at. I didn't try to go backstage or anything. I didn't want to bother Bill about that story. I would like to tell him that meeting rekindled a fire in me, but I feel like I still have more to prove before I put myself in front of my idols. I love to meet Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, Nirvana, and tell him like how much he meant to me, but man, I still have so much to learn on guitar,
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, they say don't meet your heroes anyway.
yeah.
But sometimes they can motivate you, like you were saying.
They really can.
Yeah, like just a random occurrence like that, they'll motivate you. So let's do this, man. Let me have you go through. Just pick one of the songs. One of the songs you do with Connor.
I'll stick with Forever. That's a song we're trying to push.
All right, let's do that. I just want to have you kind of like break it down, go through it. Like I wrote this, and then we transitioned to this, or however you went about it. What you're using on the pedal board, like just kind of break it down for me.
All right, I'll tell you how the song came about with words, and then I'll explain through how the parts match the vibe of the song, and how we had to select what parts stayed in the song, which ones didn't.
That's always a hard.
Yeah, because whenever you're trying to write your own stuff, by the time you're recording, you realize like, that part of the song's too busy. It'll probably distract the listener a little too much.
Cool, dude.
So the song started out with a girl I was seeing. Shocker. And we
A song about a girl.
yeah, it's literally a song about a girl. And let me just say right now, I did not help out with the lyrics in the song. Connor nails lyrics every time. All I told him was what inspired me to have a certain guitar riff, and admittedly, I was trying to have this song be my song, but I learned to swallow my pride and just,
It's as a guitar player, like your job is to like bleed through on the track most of the time and solo, but it takes a skill to like be able to just like ride the wave and just like be in the background and let someone else kind of shine.
And that's especially what's kind of keeping me, and I mean this in the best sense of the word, that's what's keeping me grounded through the years I'm going through right now.
Yeah, you're playing your role.
Yeah, I'm playing my role.
That's what it is.
And I'm still finding myself as a musician. Sure, I'm able to do certain things, but I need to pick the aspects that really define my technique, my playing, my character, my personality.
Yeah, guitar playing is not all solos and clean licks. Some of it's boring riffs and rhythms.
And it's literally your expression across 6 strings, all strings with different thickness. You can play one note on one string and it sounds like, the note, but as a guitar player, you can tell when it's a, bottom E string or a B string playing a note. Hold on. And yeah, all those are E's, but if you're a guitar player, you can tell like which octave that is, which string is striking that.
Sure. Yeah.
If you listen to it enough.
Yeah. You'll know what string it is. Yeah.
And all right, going back to Forever, I wrote the song about a girl, and I had I think like 3 sections written, but on the song Forever, we ended up using a simpler version of one of the sections, but then we just scrapped like all the rest of the parts of the song. But by the time we were in the studio, we pieced it together pretty good.
So you already had the riffs down?
I had the riffs down. Yeah. I had the drive of the drums. The chorus of the song kind of rips off Nirvana's "Drain You" just a little bit. Not necessarily the space between the second snare hit. I was about to try to I was trying to spell it out with words, but you have to like hear the song.
Yeah, you have to hear it, man.
Yeah,
that's what I love about like being in a band. Like sometimes like you learn this language with each other. Yeah, that. So play like da, 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 and you have this like language between each other, and like no one else will like really understand it unless you spend that time with each other building that shit.
That's what garage bands. That's what being in garage bands, taught me. Just language. Whether people went to music theory class, went to high school music classes or not, you just find your own language to
absolutely
to explain the madness. Music's madness. It really is fucking madness.
Hell yeah.
You think it's fun until you get into it.
So let's go through the intro, I guess, first.
I'll do all the parts in sequence, and at the end, I'll show you what the original thing was, just to get the attention right.
Right on. I love that echo on that.
Yep. Yeah, good reverb.
Hell yeah.
I'm using a Holy Grail for a reverb. I think just the Hall. Let me change to the flurb. Let me change to the flurb and see how it sounds. Yeah, I didn't think I would like anything that doesn't... I wouldn't think I'd like a reverb that wasn't Hall, wasn't Spring, but this flurb thing that... Electro Harmonics Holy Grail has. It's pretty good.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it matches the volume of the pickup outputs. Luckily, it doesn't just have like a flat tail end.
Yeah.
The sound of it. And that will sound different from the record, but I play live the way I play live. Now, let's...
So how'd you go about creating that intro?
Let's see. The original version of the song was...
Pretty basic, yeah.
Almost math rocky.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit ashamed calling it that because math rock is far more complex. Alternate tunings, jazz musicians playing them. It's beautiful.
I mean, I think of Polyphia and Mike Henson.
And I'm also thinking about American football. American football has they laid the groundwork for late 90s, early 2000s emo rock.
Mm-hmm.
And they took a break, and now they're back together. Not with all the original members, but, man, I'd love to see them live. Now, let's see. And the last part of the chorus was it was in the vein of another guitar part I had written for the song, but I realized like in the recording session I'm like, that's kind of taking over too much. That deserves to be its own song. Let me just play it over real quick.
I like that little vibrato right there.
Yeah, and I remember when we were recording the drums for the chorus, we needed something to leave room for a vocal hook. So we decided just I think Brandon who recorded me told me what was that last chord, and I'm like, okay, and I did it in that way. He said, play exactly like that to the end of the drums. Ready? And he told me just to do the one chord, but I realized so you have like the main one in F, starting on the C note. So I decided to start out with, just to add that, and it fit the song. And I'm trying to think, are those all the sections in the songs? I know I did multiple layers of chorus and reverb through the verses. Yeah, but whenever I play live, we're not using backing tracks as much. I just do a different version of it. Especially to remind the vocalists, which notes to pick, because whenever you're just going through like all the notes, you don't really hear all the notes, because whenever you pick across strings, you kind of skip notes that use sustain.
Yeah.
Unless you do let them all ring out, but whenever you get to a certain point, you're able to skip strings and just select. And you can also use your left hand to mute the string to prevent it from like fretting to.
So is there anything that you do on that track specifically differently live rather than in the studio recording?
Just the verses.
That's it?
Yep.
What are you changing up?
What am I changing up? Blunt in my hand, ash hitting the floor, liquor in our veins, know you feel it for sure. And it kind of helps give a rhythm, adding the single notes.
Yeah. It makes it a little more harmonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah.
And also, it's just how the different members that we have in our band just interpret their part in the song. Our drummer Ethan, he nails our live shows. He really keeps the band together. At least like at the pace of the songs, so that way we can have enough stage time.
Sure.
We're not dragging, slowing down songs. We're also not speeding up to where Connor can't breathe, singing and stuff. He's a good, seasoned, experienced musician, really, and he says he's self-conscious about how he plays our songs. I say he adds something to the songs. But for a live version of a song, I believe in the concept of whenever you write a song, you can try to record it like how you would play it live, but it has to sound good on car speakers, and
got to do the car test.
And also commercial test if it will line up and sound good and fit in a commercial.
Sure.
Selling a product or selling a vacation a cruise line.
Yeah.
That's immediately what me and Connor thought of the song. This can be a summer hit. It can be a beach song. It can be a college.
That's a summer smash for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's no power chords. I'm coming from a pop punk standpoint. I'm not just doing.
That makes it stand out to me.
Oh, yeah. It can kind of be a hook. The guitar part alone can be a hook.
Yeah.
But if you're a seasoned guitar player, you're like, that guy's just trying to be a little bit extra special. All right, we'll give you that. That's at least what I think. Whenever guitar players judge each other, it's either because the person that's given the feedback wants to get to that level. Oh, I want to be metal, playing. I want to be Dimebag Darrell. I want to be Dave Mustaine. But a lot of guitar players these days are really trying to sound like Tim Hansen from Polyphia.
Absolutely.
And I can appreciate that, actually.
It's the influencer rock, man. It's just like, dude, I don't even know how to get started at playing that shit. First off, you got to have the right guitar for it.
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I'm not even gonna attempt.
you have to have the right guitar. You're not gonna just pick up like a fucking Les Paul or a Strat and play that. You can't. You're not gonna get the harmonics out of it.
Oh, and let me say one more guitar player that deserves recognition for influencing like bedroom guitarists, instrument guitarists. Nito, I'm gonna say the name wrong probably. Nito Ichika. He does 30-second to sometimes a minute solo guitar jams. Also comes out with EPs where he's playing over beats, but he knows how to play guitar by itself and be in the vein of Tim Hansen, but also just jumping keys, alternate guitar tunings, maybe even having all the strings be tuned to E, and finding a way to riff and do melodies on top of that.
Yeah, I mean they're not playing in like standard tunings.
Yeah,
Stuff like that, exactly. I love that they're from Fort Worth too.
Yeah,
It's awesome. And then they're like killing the fucking music scene.
and I loved how when they showed up to the So What festival, that's when their in-ear monitor system went down, or their beat system went down.
Did you? Yeah. Did you see that?
I saw the footage.
Yeah.
I should have been at that show. I really
His fucking stage hand was keeping tap form on his leg. Yeah.
especially hitting him in the back of his
They also
with the
dude,
drum set.
they also got a bunch of shit for that show for playing with fake Marshall half stacks. You know the old fucking thing where they put the fucking the cab.
Yeah.
It's an empty cab.
Wall of cabinets.
Exactly.
They're trying to Van Halen it.
So they're just making a bigger stage presence, but everyone's giving them shit for it.
But let me say, it's hard to make your band's set memorable by the music alone. You're
an entertainer.
You're an entertainer. Your makeup has to be a certain way. You have to be consistent with the songs that you pick and the outfits that you pick. You got to fit the theme of your tour, so that way people can recognize, oh, it's this band that's on now. We're gonna go walk halfway across the stadium to go see them.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. The artists I see anyway, especially rappers, they get in the scene, get in the music scene, and then they're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to get on stage and perform a song. Like, no, dude, you're an entertainer. You're there to perform. You're there to entertain. You need to rehearse something. Come prepared.
You're not here for you. You're here for the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not here to boost your own ego.
Yeah. So I guess just to kind of wrap all this up, let me ask you a question about how are you going through time right now, man? Is time something you worry about? How are you experiencing time in your life?
Time can really be judged on what goals you have set in front of you and how far along you're willing to wait for goals to meet their end,
Okay.
And my goals right now are to keep finding my own place and where people may need me. Right now I'm doing guitar stuff for Connor, working my construction job with my dad, and saving up to be able to make it to gigs, get the equipment for my next journey in guitar. But as for my goal in music, I have a lot of chords that are put together trying to make songs out of them, but I always find myself resetting my lyrics. And part of that reason is because I lost my cell phone, and I used to put all my lyrics on just phone notes, and that's a dumb idea. I used to write down my lyrics.
I'm guilty of that, dude. My notes are full of stuff. Just ideas and lyrics, whatever,
So right now I'm waiting for the next burst of inspiration with with Connor, of course, but also with these other projects I've dabbled in. My friend's band Limerick. I was invited to a studio session. I was supposed to track guitar, but I did a food run. Also, helped him pay for the studio session. Not out of my pocket or anything. I just I just took care of getting the money out and stuff under someone else's bank. But anyway, by the time I got back after that run, they were stuck on vocal parts for one song, and they were already done tracking guitar for another one of their friends. Good friend of theirs named Kareem. He nailed his parts, and I was listening back to how the songs that I was expected to play were sounding, and I'm like, those are good on their own. You guys are doing vocals now, right? Just focus on vocals the rest of the day. And all I really did was just bring my equipment in, had mics set in front of them. I don't know if any of the amps were used or anything, but by the time I was back and I heard how the record sounded, it was probably the wrong decision, but I just told them like, hey, you guys are the friend group, and at this point, I'm just another musician that jammed with you guys, you know, when I was able to, and I'll be honest, like I was doing this mainly for me. And by the time they were recording that record at Fort Worth Sounds, and I heard what their friend was sounding like, it fit. To my ears, it fit, because I knew what the song sounded like, and he added like plenty of good layers. But it turned out that that wouldn't be the final lineup. Kareem would eventually leave the band, and whenever me and Dillon hang out, he said, Dillon, you should have just tracked some guitar, man. I'm like, well, maybe next time. And I focused on working with Connor for a while, and you know, he and I jammed a few times one-on-one. We also tried to start another band with this guy named Alan. He worked at a Lancaster instrument shop. I ended up buying a X-Tone semi-hollow body guitar with the Bigsby on it.
I love semi-hollows, dude.
And the guitar itself, it had a couple of dings on it, a couple of good scratches, and he was worried that no one would buy it because of that. The first day the guitar was in the shop, I demoed it. The pickups were hot. I liked it. Call it an impulse buy, call it what you will, but I picked it up immediately right there.
Yeah.
And brought it to rehearsal.
I've done that a few times, impulse buy a guitar.
Yeah. Now, the one guitar I think got away, it was this rare Harmony full hollow body. It was a full hollow body Harmony electric guitar. And it didn't fit my first band's vibe. It didn't fit Civic Duty's vibe. I wasn't really that much of a clean guitar player. Like, that guitar sounded good with cleans, you know? But by the time I distorted it, it was just a lot of feedback and stuff.
I get that. I used to play on an old, like, Dan Electro full hollow body, and it's just a clean guitar. But yeah, dude, let me give you a chance to just kind of, like, throw anything out you want. Yeah, and I want to have you, like, play us out with something, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I'll play a little something, and then I'll come up with a good outro. Now, I do actually multitask while I play guitar. Sure, I'm thinking up like lyrics or like for guitar parts, but
you don't have to sing nothing, man. I just want you to play something for us.
I'll be making faces, so I'm actually actively thinking about what's expected of me.
Well, guitar face is a real thing, dude. Yeah.
The song is called Stargazer. I'll probably release this song eventually in the future. No promises. I feel like I'm on a roll. Let me show you one more thing.
Now play Wonderwall. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was in the right capo position.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, a little out of tune. Fuck it. Same chords, different capo. Let me transition to electric real quick.
Alright.
Not trying to take over, but might as well play with something loud.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so y'all be sure y'all follow Dillon on everything. You can catch him on stage with Connor Gibbons. I'm a fan, dude. Dude's an excellent player, excellent musician. Yeah, check him out.
So yeah, follow me on Instagram at peace_my_guy. You may also find me on, Battle.net. You know, all the games on Battle.net, Blizzard and stuff. You'll find me under Peace My Guy, and I'll just be anywhere the music takes me, really, anywhere life takes me.
Yeah, I love that, dude.
And thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah, dude. Hey, like I said, when we met and you helped me out at the Grex Fest, you made a friend, dude. So I appreciate you coming through. This was a lot of fun. Everyone that stuck around, I know this was a long one, super guitar based, but if you stuck around, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe, all that. Y'all be you, we're gonna be us. Later.
Describe how you felt in the comments section.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see raw, unedited, live episodes, follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/whatsupwiththat. To watch full episodes of What's Up With That, subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/whatsupwiththat.